You are listening to Mario.lebrato discussing the benthic surveys in the baobab oil field of Ivory Coast in West Africa. So you can see in the map of the surveys that we started in the shelf, and we're going to take you to the deep slope below 1.2 kilometers. We start in very shallow waters with the surveys of the ROV, checking the pipelines and checking the seabed, and we went basically from 30-50 meters down to 1.3 kilometers, literally following the ROV, checking the pipelines and the seabed. And along that transect, we study how jelly carbon, so in this case pyrosomes, huge blooms of pyrosomes were accumulating. And at the same time, we study how the organisms, so in terms of benthic ecology, how they were interacting with the jelly carbon, and we found some dominance events from the benthic organisms, and this motivated this paper. We already published the original carbon export from these surveys in 2009 in Limnology and Oceanography, me and my colleague Daniel Jones, and we decided to reanalyze the videos, the original videos and the surveys, because we only published data from 300 videos, and here we reanalyzed the whole survey, over 700 videos. And yeah, we came up with these ecological surveys, and we hope you really enjoy them and really appreciate the magnitude of jelly carbon deposition events. Really, that's the discussion. The scientific community wasn't really aware of the magnitude of a jelly carbon deposition event. Some members of the scientific community on the biological PAMP were really suggesting, oh, you guys are just studying sporadic events, it's not something meaningful for carbon export or for the carbon cycle, and we kind of, argue against it since the early 2000s, then 2006, 2009, 2010, and until now. Additional evidence has been coming up that carbon export from jellyfish and other gelatinous organisms like chordata, in this case pyrosoma, and also salps and all these organisms from the surface, deep ocean also, are important for carbon cycling. I mean, this has been a very hot topic with many publications that kind of not contradict, but just add increasing evidence about carbon export. And well, many people have been surprised that this hasn't been studied properly until now. Well, there are papers dating back since the 50s and 60s checking on this, but the magnitudes were not really studied, and that's because we didn't have the technical advances for that. We now have ROVs, cameras, we have more people going continuously in the ocean, so people can really find these mass deposition events and study them. And we are just starting to realize how big they are, and I hope everybody really enjoys that in these two videos we are having for you, this short presentation video of 12 minutes and then the long 2-hour video. And we have to say that we have a lot of footage. I mean, we have hours and hours upon hours. We could be here for days showing you how a deposition event is. It's not something small, it's huge. You've probably been seeing the images. I haven't been commenting on what's happening. That's gonna be for the video number 2. So for the 2-hour video, I will be talking about the species and the animals that we see on the seabed, and about the pyrosomes, and about the pipelines, and about everything you can find on the paper. But we're going to be discussing it in detail in these videos. So just to let you know, these videos are part of a collaboration, large-scale project with the oil industry, with the Serpent project, which is led by Daniel Jones in Southampton. And myself, I worked with Daniel for a number of years on mass deposition events, and I took care of all these surveys and all the analysis and the interpretation, but the person behind all this is Daniel, and he's also been heavily involved, like myself, on this work since then, and we've published a number of papers, and well, we hope to publish a few more, and then they're doing an amazing job with the oil industry, that to having access to the deep ocean and to footage like this that is unique and will be very expensive to get on our own with surveys. And well, this is giving new discoveries, and it's amazing. So just to give you some comments on what we are seeing on the screen, you've seen pyrosomes there and jelly carbon accumulating along the pipeline on the sides, and you've seen some organisms here and there. So yeah, some of those are feeding on the jelly. You will see it in the other video more clearly, because this is a quick summary. In some cases, there are what we believe are dominance events from a few taxa, and the discussion here it's complex, because some of these taxa and these organisms probably live at those depths, and they like those depths, they are happy at those depths, but at the same time they might be rearranging themselves and moving towards the hotspots of jelly carbon. And this is the base of the discussion for this paper, that enrichment of the seabed with organic matter, in this case from jelly carbon, can cause dominance. Well, we know this from other enrichment events, from phytoplankton or phytodetritus or other enriched areas in shallow water. We know that this causes dominance, or a few species take advantage of the situation and exploit it, or actively exclude the other. These dominance events are very conspicuous, very known in marine science, in all kinds of animals, so it's not surprising that this is happening here, or we believe it's happening here at the seabed. The thing is that there are many confounding factors. There is also all the chemistry of the water, there is the bathymetry, there is the food from the jelly carbon, the distribution of the animals, the pipeline, so there is many confounding factors. But we think we're just showing, we are showing a natural event and describing what we see and what we believe is happening. And we hope it's very clear, the magnitude about what we are seeing here, and that we can really convince some of you guys out there that are really accepting about jelly carbon how important it is. I mean, if you cannot really see it and you only saw some photos, you might say, oh, okay, this is something sporadic. But hey, have a look at these videos and really take our word that it's huge. This is huge, these depositions. I mean, obviously there are parts of the seabed that are empty, of course, but there are others that have peaks of 20 grams to 50 grams of carbon per square meter. This is kind of big, and there is also the discussion here. We have only surveyed the seabed down to 1.3 kilometers, but other people have done it down to 3 kilometers and to 5 kilometers, and they keep finding jelly carbon. And we believe in our surveys it's the same. This jelly carbon gets transported downwards and it just accumulates deeper, and it's feeding organisms all the way, and also exporting carbon and locking up carbon. And well, the turnover rate for gelatinous zooplankton in the euphotic zone, in the surface ocean, is pretty fast for these guys. These guys are basically feeding on phytoplankton, and then they're exporting that carbon plus their carbon from their bodies. So, I mean, this is something very important. We know a lot from this carbon export from salps and their pellets, but from the bodies of the organisms, we always thought that was like circumstantial, and it's not. Look at them. Look at these densities on the seabed. That's all carbon being exported all the time, every month, every year, millions upon millions of tons. Recently, it was published from another group of colleagues working on the topic. What's the standing stock of jelly carbon in the surface ocean? And it's huge. It's close to phytoplankton. It's huge, and it's probably even more. And obviously all this carbon is being exported at some point, and it goes to the seabed. And we've published with our team some papers on how it decomposes this carbon when it sinks, and it doesn't really decompose in the surface ocean. It sinks fast. These carcasses sink fast, over 1,000 meters per day. They go fast to the seabed. They don't stay in the mesopelagic or in the euphotic zone. They sink fast when they die, and that's the proof. You're seeing it in your eyes. They are here and now in the seabed. Organisms are feeding on them, and then they're decomposing. The carbon is being released, stored in these deep water masses or on the seabed, on the sediments. That's what it is. I mean, this is a huge component of the carbon cycle, and we're really happy we can show these videos to you for the first time, because normally these things get published with photos and, well, people don't really get the magnitude of these things. So we're coming to an end of our first video, the presentation video of the surveys. We hope you enjoy the video, the images, also our comments on it. And we hope to see you on video 2, which is in over 2 hours. And we're going to be talking about the organism, the species, and, well, just more details. And just to let you know, this is pretty spontaneous. We don't have a script for it. This is as we go. The comments that come up to our mind. And, well, we hope you join us in that second video. And we thank you for your attention here.